Routing.
Routing, so example, I'll just show you, I won't really do it. So example, you try to use the tendon hammer, touch the upper lip of the patient. Normally, we don't have this primitive reflex already, but if the patient has primitive reflex in case of frontal lobe problem, so patient will have routing reflex. Example, the lip will start
sucking,
routing, and then maybe even sucking. And then other thing you can check is, can you show your hand? One enough, okay. So check for palmar mental reflex. So you stroke the tena of the hand, and you can see whether there's contraction of this musculus spectalis. So patient this might be moving. If patient has still patient got this reflex. Other thing you can check is another thing you can check is grasp reflex. Can you show me your hand? Example, you try to run your put your hand like this, and normally we don't have this reflex already. But in baby and in some old people dementia or frontal lobe problem, then they will start to grasp your finger. If the patient has this problem, he will grasp your finger. This one is a primitive reflex. Usually should disappear when we are adult, but it will appear. Example, your frontal lobe problems are. What else? Okay, I forgot one most important one. So for the highness function, we must assess patient whether his speech is normal or not. So okay, so you can write this down. To assess the patient dysphasia or the speech problem, you have to assess a few things. Number one, comprehensive, whether patient can understand what you're talking about. Number two, spontaneous speech, can he tell you stories? Number three, naming, whether he can name out what is the thing that you point to. Number four is repeat, whether he can do repetition or not. Then last thing is writing or reading and writing. These five things you should assess. So example, comprehension. So example, you give some commands to the patient. Okay, so usually you do twisted commands the best. So example, can you lift up, and you try, don't show the patient, okay, can you try to lift up your hand like this, and don't show patient like this. So you just, and don't look to your hand like that. You just look in your face and tell them, can you please close your eyes, lift up your left hand, and use your left hand touch your right ears. So patient can do it. He understands what I'm talking about. So okay, you can open your eye. This is checking for the comprehension. And checking for spontaneous speech. Example, you try ask question which patient can give you some speech. Example, you try to ask what is his occupation? Where is he working? How many children did he have? Can you please describe me your family like this? And you try let patient talk himself like this. Then for the naming, example, you point to different common object and ask him to name it. Example, what is this? What is that? Table. So patient have you can check for naming finger function. And repetition, example, you can repeat after me. Example, today I attend CME. So patient can repeat back the sentence I speak. And what I see is writing. So example, you ask patient to write out something. For the example, ask patient to write out a sentence. Example, I am working in Bogograd or Kuala Lumpur like this. Check whether patient can write or not. And one more thing you can ask patient to do is see whether he can read. I mean, this one is writing. You can ask check for writing also. I mean, reading also. Example, you write a command in your paper like this. Example. Read it and do it. You just don't need to read it out. You just look and do what it says. Okay, so patient can understand and can perform it out. So the patient have normal readings. And for the speech, right, you should observe two things. Number one, can you understand the speech or not? Whether he's talking is appropriate or not. Number two, check for fluency, whether patient can speak very fast or not. Because patient can, example, the speech is understandable, but it's not fluent. What is this? Motor aphasia or the Broca's aphasia means something wrong with the frontal lobe. And if the patient can speak fluently, But what he say, you cannot understand at all. What is that? Sensory aphasia or Wernicke's aphasia. So all these things you should assess as and of course there's other type of aphasia, example conductive aphasia, global aphasia, and some more specific example naming aphasia or something like this. And one last thing I can teach you all is our patient is conscious. So this thing what I teach now is don't need to you don't need to check lah. But let's say our patient is unconscious. Actually, there is many things you need to do. But what I just want to teach you is how you elicit pain in this patient. So let's say our patient is unconscious, so he's lying there. So you want to elicit whether there's still any pain perception in this patient or not. So what are the 3 places you can elicit pain? I mean the supraorbital there. One more. Sternum. One more.
Earlobe. Here.
Earlobe pun boleh. Okay, so that's all actually. Last one is finger. Okay. So example, Gabriela. Okay, take down your glasses. So imagine he's lying down and he's not conscious. So what you do is you just put your finger here and you try to press it hard here. Okay, so if patient can feel the pain, then he will maybe open his eye or have some response. Second one is you can check his sternum. They call it sternum rub. So you use your knuckles here and rub it hard. Actually, really quite painful, you know. It's quite painful if you do it really hard. The sternum. Earlobe is another one. You try to press it hard down. One last thing is actually quite painful also. Okay, you can open your eyes. What you do is you put your pen or your tendon hammer. What you do is you put at the finger nail back there and you press it down. Okay, so if your roommate cannot wake up, you can try to do this thing on it's painful, but I don't know if it's a standard test or not. And different tests have different advantage. Example, the advantage of your supraorbital one is you can differentiate flexion and abnormal flexion. This one is including. This one is for GCS. Because if the patient can rise over and to the head here, that means it's a normal flexion. But let's say he can just flex a bit, but doesn't reach here, that means it's a normal flexion now. And another advantage for this one is, this say you can differentiate what actually? You can differentiate between flickering movement and total paralysis. So if you press down and the patient hand will withdraw back, that means he still retains some muscle movement. So the lowest muscle power is 1/5. But let's say no matter how hard you press, then the patient hand still cannot move. That means it's 0/5. Okay, so remember supraorbital here. You can earlobe, sternum rub, and also this one. But this one you don't do routinely lah. And if you want to do it, do it on the really confirmed unconscious patient because it will be very painful actually. Or maybe you can try doing it on roommate who don't want to wake up. Okay, so anyone want to add anything? Or anyone have any questions? So Danny, you got anything want to announce?
Okay, so this will be the last section, right? So for next semester, we'll change the time back to 4. And then we'll do some more interesting section. We'll do AXR, abdominal X-ray. And then we'll do ultrasound. All will be delivered by 6-year seniors. And then we will do more, not to say advanced, but more challenging ECG. For example, related to electrolytes and also all the types of intoxication, toxicity. What else will we do? That's it lah. So see you guys next semester.
And I just want to look in, you can see this one is so-called the Queen Square hammer, used in UK and in Malaysia. The advantage is you can see is flexible lah. In Russia, especially those who pass their neurological cycle already, you can see they use the other one more like a hammer one. That's so-called the Taylor hammer or like so-called the Tomahawk hammer lah. That one will be more expensive, but it's a bit rigid and used mainly by American and mainly in Russia here lah. But in Malaysia we use this one, and this one quite cheap actually. I think this one 25, 35 ringgit can get one. Come out so. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you.